I am really honored to welcome up Cher Brown and Mike Anchich from Bobbitt Business Media, who'll be hosting the ceremony tonight.
I'd like to welcome you all to the 2017 Fleet Manager of the Year Award presentation. Welcome to Henderson, Nevada, or as I like to call it, almost Vegas. We've got quite a few of our former Fleet Managers of the Year here. Mike Sims, Teresa Belding. We've got the Miller sisters, Lee and Sue. Linda Dinwiddie, Debbie Mize, and Patsy Brownson. I'd also like to call up Michael Beeger from AFLA and Dan Frank from Wheels, who are our co-sponsors here. They've been our sponsors for a long time now, going on 20 years, and we're honored to be involved with them.
First of all, thank you, Sherb, for the introduction, and thanks to Automotive Fleet Magazine and AFLA for hosting this award and giving us the chance to recognize the great work that everybody in this industry does and the exceptional fleet managers that we have in the room that help move the industry forward. Earlier today at the sessions, Roxanne was talking about how we all think we're in the top 10%. Well, I think when you look at the nominees for Automotive Fleet Manager of the Year, you'd be inclined to agree with her. We have so many great people in the industry. When I read through the bios and the applications for Fleet Manager of the Year, you can't help be impressed by the job that everybody has done. Not only that, but we're seeing an influx of new people into AFLA. I was talking to Michael earlier, and I think we have 25% more fleet managers at AFLA this year than we've had in the past. So not only do we have great talent developing, we have a lot of new people coming into what I think is a really exciting industry. When you ask people how they came into the job of fleet manager, it's funny because you always get different answers from people. Very few people, although we'll have, I guess, a mini MBA for fleet management, very few people went to school for fleet management or worked up in a career in it. They came from different places. They come from operations, they come from HR, they come from facilities, they might come from finance or procurement. But when people come into fleet management, most of them have a lot of skill gaps. They have a lot to learn. And so we're lucky to have a lot of people who have a ton of experience. For the Fleet Manager of the Year Award finalists, they average over 20 years of experience in the industry. And there's so many things that you can only learn in our industry from experience. They've accomplished so much when you read their applications. They worked on globalizations of their fleets. They worked on fuel sustainability initiatives. They implemented telematics in their fleets. They improved the safety of their drivers. All of them had to do that while cutting costs. And I know none of us like to focus on that, but everybody has to operate in that environment of cost cutting, but still doing a better job year after year while they do that. And many of them were also in industries that had to suffer through a lot of turmoil. Add to that the complexities of things like we saw with the Red Cross having to work within hurricane zones. We've had a number that affected people's fleets in terms of availability of fuel, ability to get registrations done, deliver new vehicles, and communication to drivers. They've dealt with data privacy issues. They've dealt with changes in lease accounting. It's an incredibly complex industry that we all work in, and it's really something to recognize the people who've done an outstanding job of overcoming all of those challenges and driving great results for their companies. In addition to doing all of that, our nominees also take the time to give back to the industry. Almost all of them have spent time either at speakers, conferences like this, serving as mentors to many of us, and also serving on advisory boards, whether it's for the fleet management companies, the manufacturers, or otherwise. So no matter where people came from, for all walks of life, we have a terrific set of finalists for the Fleet Manager of the Year Award. I will start. Our first finalist is John Dmochowsky. John is the Senior Global Fleet Manager for Mondelez International. He manages over 10,000 vehicles in a global fleet, and he's got over 16 years of experience in the industry. John oversees the Mondelez International Strategic Global Fleet Initiatives for regions across the globe. He also leads policy administration, budgeting, vehicle acquisition and disposal, driver safety programs, auditing, greenhouse gas initiatives, and more. Our second nominee for our finalist for Fleet Manager of the Year is Lee Jessic Pierce. Lee is the Global Fleet Manager for Weatherford International. She manages over 4,100 vehicles, and she has over 4,000 additional assets in her fleet. Lee has over 18 years in the industry, and she's responsible for managing both the vehicles as well as trailers and forklifts. She oversees programs that include maintenance, fuel, collision, tolls, registration, and permitting for those 8,500 assets. And our final finalist for Fleet Manager of the Year is Phil Samuelson. Phil is the Fleet and Capital Asset Manager for USIC. He manages over 9,000 vehicles and has 28 years of experience in the industry. Phil provides innovative and cost-effective solutions for USIC's US and Canadian operations, and he oversees all fleet activities, including procurement, budgeting, policies, and DOT compliance. With that, the winner for Fleet Manager of the Year in 2017 is John Dmochowsky.
Wow. I have a live mic for a few minutes. This is great. It's a pleasure. I'm very humble and very blessed to be a recipient of this award, and to thank all my colleagues who have played a part in this award would take longer than a few minutes that I have allocated. However, over the next few days here at this conference, I will thank each and every one of you in person. I promise. However, there's a few companies and groups of people I have to mention. First, I would like to congratulate all the nominees and the two finalists, Lee and Phil, for being recognized by their industry peers. I would like to thank Bobbitt Business Media, Automotive Fleet, and our sponsors, Wheels and AFLA. Also, a special thank you goes out to my colleagues at LeasePlan. I'd like to recognize Mark Kurth for our long friendship and for you handling the North American fleet. Don Santel for helping me strategically manage the global fleet. When I took over the global fleet, the first thing I wanted to do was cut and paste the US format over into Europe. But that didn't happen. So thank you, Dawn. I also would like to thank my team at Mondelez International. I am blessed to be surrounded by really great professionals, and that includes my colleagues that are from procurement, as well as HR and risk, and the fleet management team. Without them, it's not possible. But in addition to that, as I mentioned, team, and LeasePlan is a big part of that team, I also would like to have a special thank you go out to General Motors and the account executive, Doug Dietrich. And within the General Motors community, I remember looking at the slide here and the Red Cross, and General Motors is a sponsor of that. And the reason why is because of my friend and colleague, Ed Pieper. Let me share with you a situation that happened regarding Ed. Ed is one of the most compassionate leaders in our industry, and there are many compassionate leaders in the industry. A testimonial of that is today's volunteer of the blood drive. But when my mother, Lorraine, passed away, I received a very sincere email from Ed, comforting me in my time of grief. Ed's not here, but I want everyone to know that that email will stay with me forever. In addition to that, I would like to thank my family, an amazing group of dedicated and driven individuals who not only inspires me, but guides me. I have 3 daughters that are constantly guiding me. And I am blessed to have them in my corner. And I don't know if some of you know, one of my hobbies is boxing. Obviously, I don't box anymore, but having the right family in your corner is very helpful. Of course, I cannot forget to thank my dear wife, Connie. Connie, you helped me regain hope after despair, resume life, after obstructions, and restart journeys after detours. Thank you for being in my life, and thank you for being the love of my life. In closing, and I'm over time here, but Sherb said take as long as I want, so I'm going to take him up on that.
I never said that.
Okay. In closing, I'm a firm believer that we should never forget where we come from. This was a lesson instilled in me by my parents. My dad was a butcher, and my mom cleaned homes for a living. They both taught me the importance of working hard and getting a good education. In addition to this, they insisted that I treat all people with dignity and respect. This is something that I instill with me every day of my life, both personally and professionally. I am convinced that the fleet industry is a very special industry made up of very dynamic personalities. We have them all. But however, all those people share the common challenges and goals. The fleet industry is part of my DNA, and you all are my best friends. Now let's go have some fun and enjoy Vegas, and thank you, and God bless you all.
Congratulations to all our finalists and to John, our winner. And I'd like to thank Wheels, Dan Frank, and Michael Beeger from AFLA. And I'd like to say next year we are totally getting bobbleheads.